Hello everyone, welcome to video 10 of my Claude series. Today we will be discussing about Claude Code with Java. Earlier a new Spring Boot endpoint including all the controller services repository would have cost me 25 minutes of copy paste and a pattern matching before I wrote a single line of real code. Now it takes 3 minutes. A null pointer exception would have cost me 40 minutes of debugging with debugger statement. Now it is 90 seconds. So this video is my actual Java workflow with Claude Code. Let's get started and learn. Let's look at 4 daily workflows that I use every day in my code. So first is the boilerplate generation. Boilerplate generation is a new REST endpoint with controller, DTO, service, repository and unit test matching your existing pattern. Earlier it used to take 25 minutes for me, now it takes 3 minutes with Claude. Second use case I use heavily is stack trace debugging. So generally I paste the trace, describe what you are doing, Claude identifies the exact root cause and fix. And the good thing here is no more printf debugging. Use case 3 is pre-PR code review. So using Claude, what I do is I review the current git diff for bugs, security issues and Spring Boot best practices violations. So reviewer quality catches in 30 seconds and the actual human review time is also reduced. Use case 4 is test writing. JUnit 5 plus Mockito test for existing code, we can write happy path, null input, external service failure, everything. Full coverage comes under a minute. Now I will be showing you the prompts that actually work. So in the Claude Code terminal, I paste something like add a post endpoint this that accepts this, validates with this, call this and return this, and follow the existing pattern in user control.java. This is important here. We reference an existing file and specify layers explicitly and name the Jakarta constraint you need. So what it does here is it creates the controller, creates the DTO, creates the interface, creates the test. And for the debugging prompt, I write like getting null pointer exception at this when processing Kafka message, here is the trace. I give the trace and the message comes from which topic, that also I specify. So what it does is it identifies the exact null field, explain the Kafka deserialization chain and suggest a fix with code. Key habit to know here is always reference an existing file as pattern, like follow the pattern in X. It produces convention matching code. Without it, Claude tries to generate default Spring Boot patterns. Now in this slide, I will show you guys how to review and do test generation. So this is an example of a pre-PR review. Here I wrote review the changes in the current git diff for bugs, security issues and anything that violates Spring Boot best practices. So what it does is it lists down all the issues that it can find following this instruction. For the test generation, I generally write like write JUnit 5 test for this service, use Mockito, cover this path. So what it does is it follows my instruction and generates all the scenarios. So we should run /review before every push. If we are creating this in a file, we can save it in the file and run /review. Then generate test for any services that lacks them. These two habit catches most production bug before they ship. So we should always explicitly specify failure scenarios. That is a good habit we should follow. Now here comes the truth. Claude Code doesn't replace thinking. It removes the friction around the parts of development that don't need thinking and is a repetitive work. So this is generally a performance booster, not a replacement for a good developer. Let's move to a real example and see how the things basically tie up. So I have written this command add a post endpoint that accepts this with this and matching the existing code style. So, it is reading pom.xml and reading all the stuff. Now, it will try to generate following my existing code base. So, it asks me for some permissions. I have given that permissions. Let us see what it does. One interesting thing I have found out that these statuses are very eye catching. So, it is doing some edit here, we can see. It has done changes in the pom.xml. Now, it is creating the DTO, then the service method. So, see here, I have told that create DTO, then controller method, service method. So, it is doing that one by one. Now, came to the controller. Now, it will try to compile. Okay, it is asking for map inversion. Running some command. Now, it will run the tests. So, compilation is successful, it will run the test now. So, build is successful. See, everything it has completed within 2-3 minutes. Now, what I will do is, I will now try to show you some other example. So, what I will do is, I will write it some test cases. So, what I will do here is write JUnit 5 plus Mockito test for player service dot player ID covering all the stuff that I have written, and it will keep on writing. You have to give permissions. So, the tests are also run. Now, I want to do review for my changes. Now, it will do the review of my written code also. I have a review skill, so it has loaded that skill. Now, it is doing the review. After review, if it finds that some bugs are there or some code style matches are not correct, so it will be giving me that output. Let us see what it gives. It keeps on asking permissions. I generally keep these permissions configurable. So, in my earlier videos you guys might have seen that these permissions can be skipped also. So, it is running to shell commands now in my player service.java. It's going to take some time, looks like, but I guess you guys have got the idea that it does everything here, like writing code, writing test cases and doing peer review.